Okay, test. So we're just going to do x plus 5 equals 10. Obviously an easy problem. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides. What's left on this side is x. 10 minus 5 is 5. 2x equals 20. They're multiplying, so you divide. Anything you do to one side, you do on the other. This cancels each other out. What's left on this side is x. 20 divided by 2 is 10. X minus 5 equals 10. You add 5 on both sides. This cancels each other out. X equals, you add 10 plus 5, 15. 2x minus 5 equals 20. You're going to add 5 on both sides. This cancels each other out. 2x equals 25. You divide because they're multiplying. This cancels each other out. And then you can make this into a decimal, or you can keep it as a fraction. So 2 goes into 2 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. You subtract it out, bring down the 5. 2 goes into 5 2 times. So 12 in half, 25 halves, or 12.5. If you have a problem like this, it will likely tell you what it wants you to do. So it'll say put it in a fraction, mixed number, or a decimal, and you just do whatever it is that they tell you. So obviously those are super easy algebra. We are going to go on to plotting. Here's our x-axis, here's our y-axis. These are our positive x numbers. These are our negative x numbers. These are our positive y numbers. These are our negative y numbers. So this is 1, this is 1, this is negative 1, this is negative 1. This is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you're doing coordinates, this will be the x and this will be the y. And so if it's negative 5 and negative 5, you're going to go 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because this is negative 5, you're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the reason why we have to know what the quadrants are is because they might ask you what quadrant is negative 5 and negative 5 in. So then the answer would be quadrant 3. You also might have to plot it, which would look like that. And we're just going to write negative 5, negative 5. And it also might have a point, so it might say the point A. And if that's the case, you would just do an A or whatever it was. Okay, we're going to do inequalities. So if we have 3 is more than y minus 2. We're going to solve it as if it's just an equal sign, so we're going to add 2 to both sides. Y is less than 5. So when you're plotting inequalities, you are going to 6, 7, 8. Just plot some of the line, and then normally the problem would be like this. So say that was the answer and the y would be over here on the left. On this time it's right. So if it's on the left side, whatever you're graphing, the arrow would go the same direction as the arrow, but since this is on the right, you're going to do the exact opposite. So because the arrow is pointing this way, your inequality plotting and graphing would go that way. And this is open because it's just more than or less than. If it was like this, we would fill this in. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to do 3x equals y, and if they ask you, are these the correct points, what you're going to do is just plug in where you have an x, and you're going to plug in where you have a y. So here's my x, I would plug that in. Here's my y that I would plug in right here. And then I'm going to solve it. 6 equals 6. Is that true? Yes. So that means these are correct. Let's try another one. So you're going to plug this into y, and you're going to plug this into x. So you're going to say 0 equals 7 times 2 plus 2. Does 0 equal 14 plus 2, 0 equals 16? No, of course not. So these cannot be a solution to that problem. Okay, if we have this, all this means is we deal with it as the same number. It could be in an algebra problem, it can be wherever, and all this means is absolute value. So this is absolute value, and absolute value means how many spots or how many jumps away from 0. So -6 equals 6.